Miller's field had always been quiet. Kind of tower neighbor's dog barking at midnight was the most dramatic event of the week. One summer night, everything changed. It started as a flicker on the horizon, green of violet streaks tearing across the dark sky. At first people thought it was some strange lightning storm, but there was no thunder, no wind. The lights twisted, folded in impossible angles, and then vanished, as if swallowed by the sky itself. Those who swore they could hear a faint humming, a vibration that resonated through their chest, leaving an unease that lasted days. Next morning, the fields are transformed. Crops have been laid down in perfect, intricate patterns. Circles within circles, spirals, shapes so geometrically precise that even engineers with surveying equipment could not replicate them in a single night. Soil showed traces of magnetic particles that glimmered in the sunlight, almost like the earth itself had been sprinkled with stardust, and the plants, not dead, but drained, moisture microwaved from the base, leaving them brittle yet strangely alive. It was as though the stalks themselves remembered what had touched them. By the third day the men arrived. People called them the Men in Black, though no one knew if it was their real name. They were tall, unsettlingly tall, with full head, pale skin stretched tight over sharp cheekbones and bright blue eyes that seemed to pierce through walls. Eyebrows were absent, giving them a permanent alien glare. Their voices were soft, polite, yet every word carried a threat that didn't need to be spoken. "We wouldn't want you to get hurt," one said to a farmer who had tried to take photographs. The next morning, every camera he owned had vanished, leaving him with only a faint memory of images he had captured. People whispered, but soon, whispers weren't enough. Farmers who lingered too long near the fields reported sudden paralysis, unexplained migraines, and in one case, waking up miles from home with no memory of how they got there. Visitors came to see the patterns, only to leave in terror. And Men in Black didn't need to chase them. They were always watching. Videos began surfacing online, grainy and shaky, yet unmistakable. Orbs hovered above the fields, spinning slowly, emitting thin lines of light that shot downward, tracing the stalks of wheat like an invisible hand arranging them. The crops seemed to bend willingly, aligning in perfect precision, as if following a blueprint of unknown origin. Researchers studied the footage, amazed at the magnetic particles moving along the plants, defying gravity in a slow, deliberate dance. Theories emerged. Some said the formations were messages from extraterrestrial beings, a form of communication we were advanced enough to understand. Others believed they were blueprints, plans for machines beyond human comprehension. Technology encoded in a very layout of the fields, yet no one could prove it. Every attempt was met with interference, data corrupted, recordings erased, and sometimes those who tried to speak publicly disappeared without a trace. Sarah Jenkins was one of the few brave enough to investigate on her own. She had grown up on the outskirts of Miller's field and had seen the lights herself. One night, camera in hand, she ventured into a freshly flattened field. The air was charged, humming, and she could feel it in her teeth. Then she saw them, orbs glowing softly, moving in precise arcs, almost like they were sketching invisible circuits in the air. Her camera captured the faintest shimmer of magnetic dust levitating before it settled in perfect lines on the ground. Suddenly, shadow passed over her. She looked up and froze. There they were, two men in black, standing at the edge of the field. Their height seemed unnatural, their eyes glowing in the dark. "You shouldn't be here," one said. The words were calm, but the weight behind them was unbearable. Sarah tried to take a step back, but her legs wouldn't obey. Her camera slipped from her hand, smashing into the soil. And just like that, they were gone. The field returned to silence, except for the faint, lingering hum. Sarah wasn't the only one. Over the years, more and more people reported strange encounters, lights in the sky that appeared just before crop circles formed, orbs moving with intelligence, an unmistakable presence of the men in black who seemed more like enforcers than visitors. Scientists tried to make sense of it. One team noticed that the plants weren't simply cut or bent. They were dehydrated in a highly specific way, as if someone had designed a machine to extract moisture from the base without damaging the rest of the stalk. It was an act of precision that suggested understanding of plant biology far beyond human capability. Some theorize that the formations were kind of a language, a schematic. Perhaps these Orbs were constructing prototypes for machines we couldn't yet imagine. Others argued that the patterns were warnings, blueprints meant for someone or something else entirely. And yet, no one can confirm any of it. Every new piece of evidence seemed to vanish. Footage deleted, devices malfunctioning, researchers quietly disappeared, only to reappear weeks later with no memory of their work. By the 10th year, Miller's field had changed completely. The sky was watched like a predator's domain. People avoided the fields after dark. They whispered about the blueprints, the Orbs, to men in black. Some claimed they could feel the patterns resonate, almost like the earth itself was vibrating in anticipation of something. Then came the night that became legend. Sky lit up like never before, an intricate dance of light folding in on itself. Orbs descending into the field, spinning faster, drawing symbols that seemed to pulse with intelligence. Farmers and townsfolk watched from their windows, hearts pounding. The men in black appeared silently among them, observing, enforcing, but not intervening. And just as suddenly, it was over. Sky dimmed, the fields lay in perfect alien symmetry. No one dared approach. The crops hummed faintly, almost imperceptibly, like a living blueprint for something monumental, and the question lingered heavier than ever. Were the men in black protecting us from what was being built, or protecting what was being built from us? Some nights the lights returned, and with them, the sense that someone or something is always watching, always drawing, always building. The world doesn't understand. It may never understand. But those who have seen it know the truth. The sky has architects, the earth has blueprints, and the men in black are the silent guardians of the secrets too vast for human minds to grasp.